Hello, I love it that you are here and listening to this podcast episode. Today I am not alone, and that is super, super amazing. I have someone in the room with me or on the other side of the screen with me that means a lot. A woman that I have worked with the past 6 months and that I love to work with, like one of my lovely clients. This is Emelie. Welcome.
Thank you, Romy. That's very sweet of you.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, we met like in the beginning of the year, and I don't know, the moment that we met, we just had a connection instantly. It was like, okay, we get each other. I love that when we have that connection. And yeah, it was also the journey that you did go through and everything that happened along the way. Like, for example, I'm gonna give a spoiler to the listeners, is that you quit hormonal birth control. And yeah, we were at the end of our program, and at that moment we were like, okay, we have to talk more about this because I know there are some nuggets in this episode, or there are gonna be some nuggets in this episode for other women that are maybe at the same path that you were on, or you are on, or we are on. um, and to show them like, hey, we are not alone. We are really like often all the same, more the same than we think. And that, yeah, if you can do it, if I can do it, also if you're listening, you can do it as well. So, yeah, I want to dive into some amazing things that you changed and did, and where you did grow on the past months. But I would like to give the word to you to introduce yourself, to introduce yourself a little bit more. And yeah, from there on, we just gonna have a nice little chat.
So yes, I'm Emelie. I'm 35 years old, and I actually was an entrepreneur for a while. Next to working on the payroll at a company, and I was doing so much all at the same time. And on top of that, I was feeling more and more drained. I started getting more migraines. And it was somewhere last year that I went to the gym, and my personal trainer told me that it might have been something to do with my birth control, that was why I was feeling drained, not just because I was doing so much all at the same time. And I was really thinking about, will I quit my birth control, because I had been taking it for about 13 years at that time. But then I came across your page, um, and I was really curious to see if I could maybe stop birth control and see what kind of would do that to my body, what it would do to the choices I make in my life. And that's where it actually all began. Um, so I booked a call with you, and we started talking about quitting birth control. And that was actually the first step. But what I didn't know was that quitting birth control did so much more than fix my migraines and my energy. It really changed the way I perceive my work life, with the way I perceive my personal life, how I plan my weeks. So it really changed everything. And most of all, my feminine power, the way I see myself as a woman, the way I feel. So yeah, it really changed my life basically.
Wow, that is such a great start. And this is really like what I mean. Like, there's so much more that we often think there is. Like, we can't see it at the point that we're just in our routines. We're going to a job that we think is okay, but quite average. We're doing just everything that we should do. We take the birth control pill, but underneath that all, I think you had the feeling as well, like, there is more, right? There must be more than this, than I'm living right now. There must be something else, or is this how I'm is this how I'm supposed to feel? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. I felt like I was trying to fit this mold that people told me how I should be. And first of all, everyone is different. So I don't think you just have to do what everyone else does. And it's so important to be in tune with your own femininity. It's so important to feel what you want. And it's not really easy to go from following everyone else and then tuning into yourself. It takes time, it takes guidance, and that's where you came in. So I feel like you were my guide throughout this whole journey. Because, first of all, quitting birth control is also, you know, it comes with difficulties, and you really
Mm.
shouldn't just wing it, because you could possibly get pregnant as well if you don't do it the right way. Um, and it's not only quitting that pill, but it's also supporting your like the way you eat, the way you plan around your cycle. Because once you quit your birth control, you really start to get your cycle. Whereas when you're on birth control, it's actually a flat line. And once you
Mhm.
quit, all of a sudden you notice that it goes in waves. So you have these highs and you have these lows. And that's what you taught me, to serve those highs and those lows.
Yeah, beautiful. And it's exactly what a question that I was just having in my head. Like, I know a lot of women are like wanting to explore more of that more feminine side of themselves, the side that is more feeling in tune with herself and more who they truly are in the core. And you would say, so quitting birth control has helped you step more in your feminine energy.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's not just in the way I look or the way I carry myself, makeup or clothes. Like that's an extra side effect that comes with it, but it's actually really tuning into who you really are. And maybe you will even come across certain longings or hobbies or passions that you knew were there all along, but you kind of suppressed it. And that's what I experienced. I felt more than ever what my passions were, what I really wanted to pursue. And that's such a nice thing, because I didn't just scroll on Instagram or TikTok to find what everyone else was doing, what was the right path for me, but I just really tuned in with myself. And aside from birth control, I also work less now. I work less
Mhm.
hours, and that also gives me the the time to reconnect with myself without having a
Mm.
full schedule, without everyone else controlling what I need to do. I had the time to figure it all out by myself.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Like, I know we worked a lot on real showing up as your true self, as expressing yourself as you really are, as like not showing up as the woman who pleases everyone and say yes to everything, but really chooses herself. And yeah, I think that process is so incredibly beautiful to witness. So it all started with quitting birth control. In this case, what was the thought that you had at that point? Do you think it was scary?
So the actual quitting the birth control, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was scary because back when I started, I was actually still a child. I mean, when you're 20, you're not really fully
Yeah.
developed. You're still more of a teenager, I felt like.
Hmm.
I wasn't working yet, and it was something I got used to. I knew what to expect every single time. Um, and I thought it was scary to not know how it would unfold, actually, because, first of all, you might not get your period back right away. And surprisingly for me, it came back really quickly. And it's
Yeah.
actually, it's the same cycle every single time. And I feel very lucky because not
Mhm.
everyone experiences the same thing. Um, but I was really a bit anxious to see how I would cope with the real highs and the real lows. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's scary to um, all of a sudden feel like you're not really on the path that you want to be, and it takes courage. It takes sometimes hard conversations with other people to express what you need. And as a recovering people pleaser, it was really hard for me to actually set those boundaries. And I feel like just now, after these 6 months, people really start to realize that I am yeah, keeping my boundaries, that I don't really just say yes to everything anymore. And there was this period where people had to get used to it, and it was
Yeah.
uncomfortable, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, people are so used to you showing up in a certain way, and then you start changing. So people are like, whoa, what's happening there? And they're all like friendships, but relationships, it are all dynamics, of course, like with who it is, like even colleagues at work. Everyone is gonna notice that change in you and might have, yeah, it might trigger people. It might trigger people that you suddenly are not the person anymore that shows up always and at any time, whenever, wherever. Well, you're actually saying no, and people are like, whoa, what's happening here? And they might not like that, but I think it is the perfect moment to see, hey, who are my true friends? Who are the people that I truly honor and who I feel safe with?
Yeah, exactly. And it's really nice to see that unfold, and also be surprised that lots of people actually still stick around when you actually show up for yourself, when you defend yourself. It's not always going to end up with, you know, losing 10 people in your life or something. You would be surprised like how much people really look up to someone who fights for themselves. So yeah, just I feel like in hindsight I would have done it earlier, but you know, it
Mhm.
was my path and my timing.
Yeah, exactly. And so, well, there are different, actually, a couple different things that look like way different paths. So we have actually like the people pleaser role that you broke. We have quitting the birth control and stepping more in your own authentic self, your own more own expression. But I think these were all things that were so connected together and you can't see them separate. It all has to do with each other, because in order to step more in your true self and show up less as the people pleaser, we had to quit the birth control that brought you better and deeper in connection with those highs and lows to feel better what is actually going on beneath the surface. I think in the beginning you started tracking your cycle quite serious and planning more your week around your cycle quite serious. What did you learn out of that and what did help you?
Yes, I really learned the signals of my body actually. Um, Whereas I would see the weeks just the same before I quit birth control. I would always think like, oh, I can go to the gym twice, or I can do social activities 2 times during the weekend. Whereas I really tuned in, and I actually didn't plan out so much in my planner, so I could just go with the flow. I could just see spontaneously, like, what do I feel like today? Do I feel like reaching out to people? Do I feel like just relaxing more, giving my body some rest? Or do I want to create something? Do I want to post things online? Do I want to put myself out there? And that's the most beautiful thing that came out of it, that I don't really feel pressured to go on someone else's schedule. And I just really feel in every single time, like, how do I feel and what do I want to do? What is my focus? And of course, you do have some plans in your planner, you cannot really yeah, do everything spontaneous. That's not how life works
Yeah.
overall. But I can control as much as I can now, and that feels really freeing. And even my boyfriend notices that I'm really calm nowadays, and we just get done more things, but we just don't really plan them in advance. And I also really feel like the content that I put out, so I'm not really an entrepreneur anymore, but I'm really, um, yeah, putting myself out there more, singing, um,
Yeah.
taking people on my journey online. And some weeks I'm really active and I post lots of singing videos, or I write down my journey, or I share on my podcasts. And there are other times, like in the previous weeks, that I felt like I wanted to share less. I just wanted to live more, and that's okay. You don't
Yeah.
really have to put yourself out there all the time. You get to choose what you want to do. And then you see that the content that you put out resonates more with people because it comes from a good place, it comes from the right energy, and then it always will resonate. So it's not about doing more, it's about doing everything intentionally.
So beautiful how you describe that. Like, it is really such a beautiful process to witness, to see you go from, oh, I am actually all over the place and I have a full calendar, I need to do everything at every moment, to, okay, wait, but I have a choice and I don't
Mhm.
have to plan. And I feel like you're living way more in tune with yourself, with your own rhythm, and way less against yourself. I even saw you write a post like, I'm 35 and I'm feeling better than ever, which is really amazing. And I think every woman should hear that.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I was a younger woman, around the age of 20, when I started birth control, when I envisioned someone who was 35, I didn't see someone so energized, so full of life. And I really thought that I needed to be more serious um, once I came to a certain age, and I thought I wouldn't be able to do certain things. And because of quitting birth control and really tuning into my own femininity, I feel like, yeah, more energized than ever. I feel like I can um, live a life that is aligned with my values.
Mm.
And I'm so much happier than I was so many years ago. So I feel like you're never too old to start over or to
Yeah.
reconnect with yourself. So yeah, I listen to podcasts all the time of way younger women, and I feel like they're scared of turning 30 and older, but it's actually just getting better, or at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so beautiful. And we're talking about femininity. How would you describe stepping more in femininity? What did it mean for you, really? You already said it is not about having nice makeup or putting on a nice dress, but what does it actually truly mean? And how did you embody that feminine energy more?
I feel like it's something you cannot feel from using your phone. So it's very important to take time with yourself. And that's where you get signals from your body. And it's not just, the aches that you feel, but it's also the desires that you feel when your heart races, when you listen to a certain song, or whenever I go to vocal coaching, I feel like at certain points I get really these butterflies in my stomach because it's something I enjoy so much. Um, yeah, the feeling I get from walking around in nature, being in
Mm.
tune with all that nature has to offer, really taking everything in, the beauty of life, like that really taught me what I feel is important. And that's what femininity is all about. It's actually really listening to what you want to do, what your body reacts to, and your body actually leads the way to what you want to do. And that for me is femininity.
That's so beautiful described. It's really like going away from everything that lives in the head and that we think is necessary, that think is logic, back to the intuition, back to ourselves, our bodies. And yes, it's always the balance between the two, but I know that so many women are only almost living in their heads and have no idea how to actually be in their bodies and feel and go through it. And I think you're such a great example about how you moved through that and discovered that feelings and the ups and the downs, and how you exactly learned how to ride the waves of them. Especially given we had it going through this talk already, but maybe we can dive a little bit deeper in it, because I think it is such a good roadmap to show women that how following your own path also can be a bit messy sometimes, or like that we are allowed to try and to explore and to feel. How you started reconnecting with yourself and how that made you go at your path from payroll to entrepreneur, back to payroll more, and now you're exploring new areas again. How is that? What's happening there?
Yeah, so I was actually raised that I needed to look for a very secure job. So that was what I initially did. I graduated from teacher training college. I wanted to be a teacher in English and arts, but I didn't end up going that route. And I ended up in a corporate job, and I still work at that very same firm. But I never thought that it was possible for me to do anything else until I actually talked to a job coach, and she really said to me, like, I see that you are way more creative than you actually think. You actually um, have all the skills in you to become an entrepreneur. So I actually explored the possibilities. And although I know deep down inside that, yes, there is an entrepreneur in me, initially I just made every decision from my head. So the first step I took was basically keeping my job, working full time, and then taking on an extra job as an entrepreneur. And I started as a personal stylist. And even though I love styling myself and just doing everything that has to do with styling, in hindsight, I feel like it was a decision made from my head because I thought, oh, that job coach says that an entrepreneur is inside of me. I need to look for for opportunities. What am I good at? And I was just thinking about everything and making the decisions from my head. And you can go on like that for a little while, but all of a sudden I noticed that something was off. First of all, I couldn't just work so much, especially as a projector in human design. It's just way too much for me. And my first gut feeling I got last year was to work less hours because it's not doable. I thought I cannot give my company a chance if I keep on working like this. I need to slow down. But a little bit later, I also realized that actually what I was doing in my company was also not really something for me. And so I also quit that. So that was the first, those were the first gut feelings I had even before I quit birth control. And at that point last year, when I met you, I knew deep down what I didn't want to do, but I actually wanted to figure out, like, but what do I want to do? It felt really negative last year because I was leaving things behind, but I wanted to look forward and see what was next for me. And so I gave myself the permission to, to take the time. I didn't really need to figure it out before a certain date. And that was the first time that I actually gave myself some breathing room. because I felt like all my life I was going, studying this, studying that, working, oh, doing this, starting this firm. So I never really took the time to rest. And actually taking a step back is basically, I feel like, the main lesson I learned throughout all of this. You have to take a step back to actually be able to move forward. And so now I feel like more than ever that I don't fit this type of mold. I don't fit the entrepreneur life fully. I don't feel like I fit corporate life fully. It's something in between for me, and that's what I'm trying to build right now. Um, I don't have a plan right away. I don't really know um, exactly how it's going to go, but I do know that I really want to take the stage. That's something that's really, yeah, it's really important to me. Like even talking to you right now, I studied English, but it's been a long time since I've talked in English for for a decent amount of time, and I feel like it's so fun to do this. It's so fun to talk in my own podcasts, in somebody else's podcasts. I love to perform on stage. I love to sing. I love to take people along on my journey in my content, and like that's the the first puzzle piece that I've pieced together, and I feel like now I'm enjoying slowly getting there. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just really enjoying the process. And that's also a very important lesson, that you don't really need to rush yourself anywhere. You really have to enjoy the process, and everyone else's process is completely different. Look at me, I'm 35. I am still figuring it out, and maybe in 10 years, I will do something else again. It is really listening to what you need right now and just really trusting the process, trusting the divine timing, and then everything else will unfold naturally.
Yeah, wow. That's really like amazing. And I think it's so great that you're now here, sitting here, and you can actually feel that and you can actually say that. And like exactly when I met you was really a bit all over the place and like, oh, I don't know what to do, and maybe I have to do this or follow what everyone else is doing, listen to the opinions of others too much. And now I feel like, yeah, you're just here in your own center, creating what you want to create without rules, without having to make immediately 10K out of it, but just like following your own path. And that's really truly amazing. How was it to not have to figure out this alone, but have someone next to you?
That was actually truly amazing because I really felt like I needed someone for accountability on one hand, but also someone um, who could show me I don't need to be so harsh on myself, because that's also something that I did way too much, always being so hard on myself, expecting results right away, always trying to look for an explanation. And you really showed me that, I need to be gentle with myself. And sometimes you even had to tell me, like, okay, calm down, like you will definitely get there. Don't really rush it. And the way you actually guided me, that was so, yeah, so comforting as well. I feel like you are someone who I could tell everything to, every single detail of my life, and I really felt like I didn't really have to hold myself back. You always knew what to answer when I had a question. You always knew in the sessions we had what I actually needed at that time, because every single time it's something different. It depends on what kind of cycle you're in at the moment, or maybe something happened in your life. Like you always just go with the flow, and I feel like you're really good with people. You really know how to listen to someone. You just don't. listen to the question itself, but you checked my body language. You could sense in my voice if something else was going on, and you knew how to get to the core of it, basically. So yeah, I'm very happy I met you, and I I enrolled in your program because I feel like it's just something that you were born to do.
No, thank you. Thank you. I think that's really lovely how you're saying that, and I totally received that. What would be, yeah, like what was the moment that you were like, okay, I have to get help in where I'm at right now in life? What made you really decide like, okay, I really need help in this and I don't want to do this alone?
I realized it once I actually quit my firm. I felt like I was getting a bit lost, and I felt like I was just doing something without really having a good plan or something. Like, even though I say to you, like, it's not really that I wanted to have a clear plan, it's more that I really wanted to discover who I was without everything else that I had learned previously. I wanted to do some kind of reset. Maybe that's the correct term to describe it. I did so much, I learned so much, and I wanted to unlearn certain things and
Yeah.
reprogram myself. And I really felt like you were the right person to do that with. And yeah, I felt like I also came across your page on Instagram when it was the right time for me. And yeah, it felt right. And I knew that I didn't really need a business coach because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't really I didn't really feel like I had to go to a therapist. I really felt like I needed someone like you, someone who could really just put me in the right direction, someone who could, yeah, give me that spark back.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I really like some we really did some soul seeking definitely there. Like really like
Sometimes it's
who are
hard.
you?
Yeah, it's hard to describe sometimes, but
I know, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's my main struggle. Like, how do I actually show people what I do? Because it is like so simple, but so, yeah, like hard to explain and so broad and so deep. It is just everything, and that's why I love to have you here on the show and yeah, hear your perspective of it all. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in life or what is happening, but if you're like a bit in the middle, the messy middle, can we maybe even say, you're like, okay, what do I actually have to do, and how do I trust myself, and what's actually going on, and why is this happening, and I want more. And that's already enough. What would you say to other women that might be at the same position, like where they're a bit like, yeah, maybe feeling like, what do I have to do, which direction do I have to go, I don't feel really like confident within myself or in the path that I'm going? What would you say to them?
I would definitely check out your page and check out what you have to offer them, and also just take a moment to reconnect with yourself. Maybe you can already take a few steps in the right direction just by turning all of your devices off for a couple of days and
Yeah.
just listening to what your body has to say. Maybe even keep a journal to write down certain things that you notice. That's what I also did in the beginning. Sometimes something makes you really happy or sad, and I would write it down. Um, I would write down how I felt after certain interactions with people, things that I found really hard. When I felt like I was drained, I would really track all of these things and see if there was some kind of pattern there. Um, and I would also really yeah, tell you that you don't need to be like everyone else, that you just only have to be yourself. And if you really embrace being you, if you really want to, yeah, really connect with yourself, and if you don't compare yourself to others, it really will get easier. And then the journey will be fun. It will never be fun when you compare yourself to anyone else, because no one is you, no one has your experiences, your life. So really just focus on yourself. And yes, I promise you, if I can do it, if I can find my path, you can also find your own path.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's also what I always say. Like where I come from, yeah, you can do it as well, 100%. Even though you feel extremely like, what is the point, or what do I have to do, or how am I gonna do this? It is just take that step forward. The last question I'm gonna ask you, Emily, is can you tell me in one breath, like what is the transformation we did together go through the past 6 months?
In one word,
Yeah,
word,
in one sentence, in one
one
breath.
sentence. Um, that's a really good question. Um,
Yeah. Where did you begin and where are you now? What is the path that you did go through?
um, I feel like I feel like I am more myself than I have ever been before, and I really embrace myself more than ever before. So I feel like I can safely say um, that I'm more confident, and that's what you actually really helped me with my confidence and my inner compass. Yeah.
Wow, that's really amazing. Yeah, again, I'm so happy that we met and that we went through all the layers together because yeah, it were beautiful, beautiful. It was a beautiful process and it is a beautiful process and to see you blossom again and choose yourself and everything with yeah, like even in the end of our program, we really came to owning your own voice and showing really up in that own voice what is really like the red thread in your life and how we tie that all together. I just, it is, it feels magical, I would say.
Yeah,
And
actually, that's a really, really good word to describe it. Yeah, exactly. It's magic.
yeah, really magical. Yeah, amazing, amazing. So, yeah, really thank you for speaking today, for letting us hear your voice because your voice really matters. And I feel the world has to hear way more of your voice.
Thank
So,
you so
thank you
much.
for today and for inspiring some other women. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and thank you very much for everything you taught me. Yeah, I really, really highly recommend everyone you checking you out, and if they really feel like Romy is a person who can really help me, just book a call. And yeah, I wish you a lot of fun being guided by Romy.
Yeah, wow, that's a good word. Fun. That's what it definitely can be, especially like it doesn't have to be heavy or difficult. It can be fun, especially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're like, okay, hey, let me know. I want to know more. Just I'll put my link to my calendar in the show notes, and you can just hop on a free call, a free discovery call with me. I will. Yeah, just have a little chat like Emily and I did have today. Like we just have a little chat and see where your potential lays and where you're holding yourself maybe back in life and what is actually all possible. We're looking at the gifts that you already have and just have to come out. So yeah, wherever you are, whenever, just click that link and choose yourself. Thank you, Emily. I'm gonna press stop, and for the listeners, I'll see you next time.
Bye bye.